where the great Malabite is here. He's now joining us to review some of the headlines of today's newspapers from around the world. He's the one and only Emmanuel Efeni, great Malabite.
Why do I feel like I need to applaud? Hey, that was quite the intro.
Good morning, Ruben.
Good morning.
You know, many people want to become Malabites now because of this your hype. recall Chief Ogulewe was also angry to be a Malabite.
Well, so was Milambi Hall in University.
Well, it's all well and good. Now let's start the review with this day, Nigeria's newspaper of record. The lead story, federal government. COVID-19 vaccination now mandatory for civil servants from December 1 to issue revised safety protocol in next 24 hours. Removes South Africa, Turkey, Brazil from restricted nations list. Trend of infection going down in some states, rising in others. I'm all for this because the federal government has a duty of care to ensure that federal workers are safe from the coronavirus. Now, on this program, we called out the federal government for not providing, for not paying, for waiting for donations. Now that we are providing as a nation, it is the duty of citizens to go out there and take the vaccine. I have taken mine. Tundu has done that. Abati has done that. Rufai has done that.
Yes.
So I'm urging all Nigerians. Now, the federal civil servant, and this is long enough time, December 1, more than 1 month from today, or from yesterday when the instruction was issued. So federal, because there's hardly any health center you go now for your vaccine and it will not be available. So the excuse that, are we sure they have enough? Is not tenable. Go there. If you don't get yours, you can then shout out to say they are not available. But right now, in most health centers across the country, the vaccine, coronavirus vaccine, is available. Whether it's AstraZeneca or Moderna, they're all available. So let's just do the right thing. Now, the photograph on front page of this day, repatriation of Benin artifacts. Yes, the signing of the Memorandum of Understanding on technical cooperation between the German and Nigerian delegation, witnessed by a representative of His Royal Majesty Omonoba Nedo Uku Akpolokpolo Eware II in Benin, no, in Abuja yesterday. Now, of course, the director of, the DG of the Commission for Museums and Monuments was on this program yesterday. Now that the Germans are making this effort, what about the original culprit, the British, the chief looters who invaded the palace of the Oba of Benin under the guise of what they call punitive expedition? They too should come clean to the table and let's talk about how to repatriate stolen.
They have legislation, the British Museum Act. They will not, because the legislation prohibits that unless they change it.
Legislation.
They've gone that far.
But they can loan the artifacts to you.
Yes.
For an extended period.
How can you loan a stolen property?
What belongs to them? Yes. They have gone that far. It's disgraceful.
It is shameful.
It's a disgrace.
They should do the needful, even if it means amending their laws.
Yes. But will they? That's the issue.
Otherwise, we continue to call on them. The chief looters must return our...
No, but
there's an Ife bronze right now with the London Metropolitan Police that's been investigated, saying that they don't know the ownership. Well, we know the ownership.
We know the ownership.
The big argument by the British, those who say they will not return artifacts, they will loan them on a publish and return basis, is that those artifacts, in their view, is part of the British history and heritage.
But they have their own history.
No, this is part of the heritage of colonialism.
They have their own Celtic
history.
That's the argument
that they are pushing.
I reject that argument.
And in terms of Benin bronzes, there are even more in the
UK.
In Germany. No,
in Germany.
In the UK, they have about 900 Benin bronzes. They have others, North Terracotta, Ife bronzes, and all kinds of things from all over the
have a
world.
gala as
The
well.
British Empire, before the sun set on that empire,
Yeah.
got from different parts of the world.
They have the Elgin marbles as well, which they're refusing to return to Greece.
Okay,
So I was
Yeah.
with, this is just off the cuff, so I was with two British diplomats yesterday, and we brought up this issue, and I told them, plainly, you guys told us they return. And they said, the read is, yes, there's that conversation, but, you have to understand that they want the British Museum to be a melting pot for cultures all over the world. So I went further to tell them that do you know that, I don't know if you guys believe in spiritism. We believe in spiritism in Africa. And do you know that some of these bronzes are objects of worship? Apart from the fact that they curate our history, they are objects of worship.
It's shocking.
No,
and this is the spirit
Ruben,
of Africa.
Rufai, that is not even an excuse. The biggest,
they must bring it back.
biggest museum in the world, the Louvre Museum in
Paris, yeah.
has artifacts from all over the world, but they are not tagged as stolen artifacts.
Yeah, this was the stolen ones.
Yes.
Well, they are properly acquired.
Yes.
Why not?
Yeah,
Not
but they
that-
stole this one.
not
Yes.
that, these
What we
are
are asking for is those that were stolen
Yes.
from the Benin
a form of
palace.
restitution.
Yes.
For evil committed, evil done in the past.
Yes.
To free independent persons. Okay, don't worry.
And we
Okay.
have
We'll
picture
get there
evidence of the
someday.
Okay,
theft.
let's
Picture
just,
evidence of the theft.
let's just move on with the Guardian newspaper. APC, PDP in flurry of activities to decide critical congresses. APC insists on going ahead with congresses amid protests. PDP northern governors in marathon meetings to decide Ayu Shema's fate for national chairman. Consensus arrangement suffer setback. Stakeholders shun meeting to reconvene today. I have no plan to return to APC, says Obaseki. Save Nigerians your lamentations. PDP tells APC. Yes, Obaseki was at Aso Villa yesterday. So, it's good. He has come out to say he has no plans to return to the APC because, of course, when you go to the villa these days, either you are going there as a governor or a PDP member. We know what you are going there for. But he has clarified. And the story is that he has actually gone there to ask for money from the federal government to set up ranches in Edo State. Yes, some people say, why should he do that? Well, if they have enough land and he wants to set up proper ranches, why not? And the federal government has given Katsina and Kano State substantial amount of money to set up ranches. So if Governor Obaseki is asking for money from the federal government also to set up ranches, I will support him so that cows don't roam the farms of farmers in Edo State and elsewhere. Now, the Vanguard newspaper, 2022 budget, 3.9 trillion naira for debt servicing worries on reps, says total public debt now rise to 5 trillion naira in 2022. Honorable Onofiok Luke from Akwa Ibom State pointing out that during the debate yesterday in the general principles of the 2022 budget, federal budget. Now, worry over deficit borrowing may increase budgetary allocation for works. Canvas zero budgetary allocation for airing MDAs. Moore's upward review of budget oil benchmark from 57 to 60. I don't think we should be tampering with that because if we have excess, let's save for the rainy day instead of just thinking about the boom in the oil market right now. Now, the Daily Independent reps urge to cut in 6.45 trillion naira new borrowing. Now, the Leadership newspaper, 1 year after NSAS protest, police foot drag on reform. Police brutality continues amid attacks on stations, facilities. Over 20 police stations attacked, 47 officers killed in 12 months. Yes, many seem to have forgotten that the main essence of the NSAS protest was to stop police brutality and also reform the police for the benefit of policemen. And recall that the federal government accepted the 5-point demand of the protesters then, the NSAS protesters, and there was this pledge that reform will be seen, will be done. But up till now, still waiting for that reform. Now, the Punch newspaper, NMA health workers differ as federal government plans ban on unvaccinated workers. Workers must be vaccinated or present negative tests as from December 1, federal government. Well, doctors are backing the federal government. Now, the New Telegraph newspaper, national carrier intrigues, power play may truncate project. The national carrier project, NUATE allegations spurious. Minister Arik in 300 billion naira debt, asset worth only 150 billion naira. AOC's denial to carrier will shut out 20,000 jobs. Well, this national carrier, we've been on this matter since the first term of President Muhammadu Buhari. Will it ever come to light? We'll keep on watching. Now, the Daily Sun newspaper, Igboho rushed to hospital after falling ill in Benin Republic prison. He's battling kidney lung problem, according to his lawyers. Now, the Daily Trust newspaper, federal government, private sector to bridge 350 trillion naira infrastructure gap. Amount equals Nigeria's 18 years budget. Plan will reduce huge debt burden, but experts, states to contribute 20 trillion naira. NNPC to rebuild failed roads. Yes, if NNPC is planning to build failed roads, well, we hope that will be done quickly, because after all the talk about road construction by this administration, many major federal roads are in deplorable condition. We remember a couple of weeks ago, trailer drivers, tanker drivers protested somewhere in Niger State over the deplorable state of the road. The road passing through Ondo State, also the federal road, is in serious state of deplorable, is in deplorable state, just to put it simply. And the road you and I know very well, Ruben, the Calabar-Itu road, used to be a very smooth drive, 100 kilometers from Ikotekpene. Today, that road is in deplorable situation. So what is the Minister of Works doing when these major roads, including the Warri-Benin road, where tankers from the NNPC refinery are responsible mainly for the use and the battering of that road? So, Mr. Fashola, you have to answer some questions on those roads. Federal roads they are. Now, the foreign newspapers, quickly. Wall Street Journal, inflation is back at highest in over a decade. Rising wages, gasoline, rent, shortages propel the latest 5.4% pace, adding pressure on Fed. Yes, U.S. inflation accelerated last month, equaling rates this summer that hasn't been seen in more than a decade.
I thought some people said it was transitory.
Yes, but no, but if you look at the Financial Times, Biden is doing something. Biden enlists corporate America as supply jam threatens recovery. Walmart, UPS, and FedEx to work as consumer price hits 13-year high. Of course, these three companies have pledged to work around the clock to ensure that this issue of supply chain gridlock or quagmire in the U.S. is tackled as Biden prepares to meet business leaders today. Ruben Rufai and Tundu in brown. I call it brown.
Taupe. It's taupe.
Yes, I know specialists if you call it taupe, but on the streets they'll call it khaki color or carton color.
Before you go,
yes,
I wanted your comment on this promise by the Inspector General of Police that the Nigeria Police will be able to provide security for the elections in Anambra on November 6th. And he has ordered Mopol commanders to be ruthless with violent elements. I hope that's not a case of the Inspector General of Police endorsing extrajudicial actions. If he says be ruthless, because the rank and file may misinterpret it.
Yes, baby.
And particularly now that people are leaving Anambra to come and campaign in Lagos.
And Asaba. They're also campaigning in Asaba.
They're also campaigning across the border. So, of what effect would that be? It was Pliny the Elder that once said, something new always comes out of Africa. This is clearly something new where you campaign where the electorates don't live.
Rubens,
Offshore.
Seriously speaking, this is where I expect the president to be giving marching orders instead of receiving decampees. Because it is the duty of the president of this country to provide security in every part of the country, especially in a state where there is election. The kind of attacks, killings going on in Anambra in the runoff to the election, and the president is jolly well receiving decampees, deputy governor, and others from the party. I think it does not show that they are taking the security situation very seriously. So if the IG is giving this kind of order, I don't know what he intends to achieve. Because this in itself may scare voters from coming out to perform their civic duty. So the president has to come out very strongly on this matter. I recall when there were elections, off-season elections in Edo State under Goodluck Ebele Jonathan. Recall that he went out of his way to ensure that there was security, to the extent that some of his party men, including Rotimi Amechi, who was then a PDP man, accused the president of anti-party activities because the security situation then enabled Oshomole to win a second term without any stranglehold of the electorate.
Okay.
Anyway, thank you very much, Emmanuel Efeni.